Well, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So you heard that list of skills, and one of them isn't speaking.
You can sing.
Just so you know. And it's too long to actually sing the whole thing. So all right, well, here we go. All right. Well, it's a joy to be here, and what a joy this special day is, because this day will be like no other day that we have ever lived in our life. And so it is necessary that we live a life from our authentic selves. The great power of the universe that we call God, or the Spirit, doesn't expect us to be perfect. That great infinite power of life doesn't expect us to win and succeed every time, other than that we just simply learn to live an authentic life. A life where we have the capacity to become the embodiment of true love. What does it mean when we speak about love? It means to live from our deepest self, where we look beyond the judgments and the labels that so very often our society will stick upon us. That we're not good enough, that we're not worthy enough. But this great infinite power knows and loves us just for who we are. There is a story about Mother Teresa when she was asked to do a tour in some of the cities in America. The person that organized the tour showed her this very luxurious room. She said, "I don't need any of these things." He said, "Mother Teresa, what can I do for you? There must be something that I can do for you." She replied, "Go out into the streets of the city at 2 or 3 a.m. and let somebody know that they are loved. Let somebody know that someone cares." You see, she said, "I don't live in the world of the body. I don't live in the world of the ego. I live in the world of the spirit. And in the world of the spirit, all are equal and all are one." That's a very, very powerful statement, because when we can truly live from our deepest center, the spirit, everybody everywhere is equal. Everybody everywhere is one and divine. And we live a life then that is victorious. We've overcome the egoic self, the need to feel more special, more important. We can let go of the need to have more and learn to dwell in the stillness of our own inner being. As John Whittier said, "Drop thy still dews of quietness till all our striving cease. Take from our soul the strain and stress, and let our ordered lives confess the beauty of thy peace." This comes from a poem he wrote called Solo, where he had witnessed the Hindu priests taking an herbal concoction to reach a higher state of consciousness and awareness, that they may know and experience God. But he, being a Quaker, realized you don't have to do any of these things. You just have to sit in the stillness of your own inner being. And as you do so, you touch an awareness of the divine. A place within you opens up where you perceive life as one. The Sufi Rumi, who founded the Mevlevi order of the whirling dervishes, once said, "Surely there is a window from my heart to yours." And I try every time I meet someone to meet each person I encounter and embrace from the openness of heart, from the openness of spirit where we know love. That no matter what our spiritual tradition, whatever our calling has been, whatever our culture, wherever we've come from, it doesn't matter, it's all a label. Rumi would whirl until he achieved an altered state, and scribes would write down everything that he uttered. He voiced truths which have lasted through the passage of the hands of time. Once he was asked who he was, and he said, "If you try to label and confine me, with your labels you will starve yourself of yourself, for I do not know who I am. I am astounding lucid confusion. I am your own voice echoing off the walls of God, the walls of God which are boundless and infinite." Look how he speaks about the walls of God. And in the same breath, he says they are boundless and infinite. Life is eternal, but life is the very moment we are living right here and right now. Don't think tomorrow I'm going to be a better person. Someday I'm going to arrive. There is no arrival. as it says in the Tao, it's the joy of the journey. And this moment in truth is all we will ever have. There have been so many spiritual leaders from every single tradition that have been a great example to that which they believed. They have lived a life that has been motivated and inspired by the Spirit, but they have been no different from you or me. They had their own share of life's difficulties and sorrows to overcome, and yet they have lived their life victoriously, knowing that as they align themselves with the silent voice of their own spirit, they, in their own way, were led to live a life that would be a great example. They were extraordinary because they put that extra effort in, and they became extraordinary human beings. It doesn't matter where you live your life, it matters how you live it. For every single moment is an opportunity to serve. Every single moment is an opportunity to make a difference in this world, to be the channel of peace, to soothe or bring a calming peace to troubled minds sometimes. When we've lost a vision and an awareness of whom we are. Because many people get caught up in life, in all the trappings of existence, and all the things they feel they must have. And when you realize to live an authentic life is to live a life when you don't have to fill it with things, just fill it with living a life gracefully, with true awareness, with consideration for the needs of those we share our life with and keep company with. Spiritualists know that life is eternal, that the body is just a shell, and so we search for a deeper meaning to life because we realize that the body is just a vehicle of the spirit. And one day, when that great infinite power calls us home, we will look at our life and realize, as it's viewed through our awareness, how we touch the lives of others. Did we live a life of truth, of value, and place emphasis on all the important things, the little things? John O'Donoghue is a beautiful Irish writer who has written some very moving and powerful books. He sadly is in the spirit world himself now, but this great author and inspirational, motivational speaker once said that memory is where our vanished days secretly gather. How beautiful. What will you take with you when you leave this earth behind? You won't be able to take anything on a material level, not even the books that you've read. And yet you will take everything within your own soul. You will take the memory of those little moments which drop by drop have made the cup of your life overflow. The question possibly we will ask ourselves is, will the cup of your life overflow with the milk of human kindness? Will it? Will you be able to hold your head up high and look at the reflection of your life, of who you really are, and know that come what may, you did your best? Come what may, even though sometimes the road was bumpy and uneven, that you gave it your best shot. Because, as I said at the beginning, that infinite power of all life isn't expecting us to be perfect. If we were perfect, we wouldn't be here, would we? But that infinite power is calling us to know who we really are, to wake up to the realization that we are divine and eternal beings, that we are not the sum totality of this physical body. That which we are now in is just a piece of clothing that we wear that serves us according to how well we've treated it and looked after it in our life. But our spiritual nature asks us to look to the future. And the future begins in this very moment. To strive to create in our small corner of the world unity in diversity. Let's look beyond, as Rumi said, so that we can touch each other from the place of the heart. That you truly have an open window in your soul through which you can reach out to others in their time of need and to be a listening ear. Be the person that doesn't walk quickly by, but allows the grace of the divine to be a source of compassion when someone around you has a need. There is a true story about a small boy in Indonesia. He was 6 years old. He had lived in the back of a shop in a one-room home. His mother worked very hard to take care of him and the rest of the family. They had very little income. The boy was so inspired to live a good life, to better the lives of those he called his loved ones, his mom, his brothers and sisters. They couldn't afford any electricity, so at night he took his homework in a box and sat in the light of a McDonald's takeout in the streets of the city where he lived in the Philippines. And when a tourist stopped and asked him what he was doing, he said, "I want to make my family happy. I want to be someone who makes a difference in the lives of others. I want to be a policeman when I grow up." So there he was, 6 years old, studying in the borrowed light from the takeout, and yet he had the spark of desire to want to make a difference for those around him, to help the street children, and to keep justice and law and order on the streets of the city where he lived. You see, inspiration doesn't have to come from a speaker on a platform. Inspiration is drawn from the lives of ordinary people. Martin Luther King once said, "If it is your lot to be someone who sweeps streets, then sweep streets so well, sweep streets as well as Michelangelo painted pictures, or Beethoven composed and played music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. Sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will stop and stand still and say, 'Here is someone who is doing their job well.'" What powerful words these are. He went on to say, "If you can't be a sun, be a star. If you can't be a mountain, be a hill. If you can't be a freeway, then be a mountain track." Because it isn't by size or money that we are measured in life, but by the goodness of our heart and by the content of our character. Very, very powerful words these are. He forged to create a difference, promoting equality. Of course we're all equal. When you look through the eyes of the Spirit, all you can ever see is equality. People may look different, speak differently. You can travel right across the earth, but everyone's needs will fundamentally be the same. We all need to feel loved and to love in return. We all need to feel our life matters, our life counts, that we have a place we can call home, that our life has meaning and purpose. You can go to any culture, any place, and everybody will say exactly the same thing. How much can you make a difference? How much can you truly live a victorious life and overcome the small-mindedness and the doubts and fears? Because if you look at every single spiritual tradition, their core essence is one of love, is one of meeting each other from that divine place of unconditional love. We won't like everybody. That's too great a task. It's true. It's impossible. We live in a diverse world where people think differently and act differently. And sometimes people will rub us the wrong way. But we can still look at them in the eye and see the same light of God reflecting back to us. It doesn't matter whatever you've done in your past, the past is the past. There's a wonderful little saying, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. Every person who is living a victorious life, who lives a life that in every sense of the word is filled with integrity, messed up sometimes, made mistakes, said the wrong things. But as I said a moment ago, this day, this moment will never ever come around again. Do we wake up with gratitude in our hearts and souls for the very special moment that we have been gifted? Do we look for beauty in all of life because each life is a reflection of the divine? Even as we gaze upon the beauty of a flower, it is reminding us of our own innate beauty. That flower doesn't have to struggle and to say, am I good enough? Am I beautiful enough? Is my fragrance divine? It just does what it knows to do best, and is what it knows how to be. The rose doesn't question, should I have been a lily? It just is. So I'm asking you just to be you. Is that so difficult? But to be the best you can be. The authentic you. Not the you that is bound by other people's expectations and other people's labels, but to be you in your own unique, beautiful way. In the whole of creation, there has never been anyone quite like you. Do we celebrate each day the gift of life? When we look in the mirror, do we say thank you to God for the abundance and joy of life and living that we have been blessed with? Because you can't think of two thoughts at the same time. And if we come from a place of love, then we can't be fearful. Because every single action we perform or thought we think is either coming from a place of love or fear. The wonderful thing is that every day you have a choice whether to live a life of beauty and love or let the doubts and fears in. The Sufis have a wonderful saying that before you say or do anything at all, it should pass through three gates. Is it kind? Is it necessary? And is it true? And if it can pass through all of these gates, then say it. What a challenge this is. Could we live one day with that thought in mind? Is what I'm going to say kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? Because if we can, then we have lived a life that entire day from the spirit of love. And the challenge is when you get up the next day to live that day in the spirit of love. So it's all about being mindful. It's about cultivating the light of awareness, that the power of awareness will shine and radiate through everything that we do. Awareness is about being aware of the needs of those around us. It's not about me first. It's such a powerful place where we can look at each person and recognize they too have a right to be here. They too have their part to play in the grand scheme of life. And it doesn't matter how you are called to serve, it matters that you serve. Brother Lawrence from the Benedictine tradition once said he wanted to spend his life in prayer, but his assigned task was to cook for the other brother monks. He wasn't very pleased about it until one day when he realized that he would turn his omelet in the pan for God, and it will taste like no other omelet because he did it from love. That is such a powerful thing, because sometimes we expect service to be standing on a platform and suggesting to others how they should live their life. But when we do something within the spirit of love, we transform it from the level of the mundane to the divine. And just like Brother Lawrence, the food was served with great love. So it doesn't matter where you've been called to serve. It doesn't matter what your allotted task is. As Martin Luther King said, it just means that you perform whatever you do with gratitude and love in your heart. Then you will have lived a virtuous life, a victorious life. The poet Christina Rossetti once said, "Tread softly, for all the earth is holy ground. Could be, if I looked with seeing eyes, the spot at which I stand is really paradise." Here where we are is paradise. In the shining faces of one another, in the room outside, or when we go home. If we are connected with the eternal power of all life, because paradise is not a place we're going to arrive at, it's a state of consciousness. And that state of consciousness is when you truly live the awakened life and when you live a good life. And that's the challenge that we face each and singly every day. But it happens gracefully and silently in the stillness of our being when we listen to the still small voice of God. Thank you.